feed. It's our honor to be with you again, to be on your screens. And today is actually the last webinar where we are featuring our social sciences department. So using this opportunity of the last webinar, I do want to thank our audience for being with us online. And we do hope that these webinars have been very educational, as you had a chance to hear from our faculty, from our students and alumni about different majors at AUS and what those majors offer. So just before we launch into our social sciences department, let me just quickly summarize of what we have been doing. So the American University of Iraq Suleimani is a North American style university. And all our education is delivered in English language. We do have an English language preparation program for students who are not yet ready to immerse into full studies in English. We offer bachelor and master degree programs, and our webinars were dedicated to help you learn more about them. As the university, we're fully accredited both in Kurdistan and in federal Iraq. Thus, our education and our degree lays out the professional path for you basically anywhere in the world. And throughout the webinars, you've heard our success stories of our alumni finishing and continuing studies abroad or getting into professional careers all over the world. As the final culmination event of all our webinars, we are hosting our traditional University Day tomorrow on campus from 12 to 6 p.m. And just using this opportunity, I want to invite all of you to come and meet our faculty, not just online, but in person, meet the students, see their projects, ask questions, as well as have campus tours and participate in the games and activities that our community has prepared for you. But today, the final attention is on our Department of Social Sciences. I do want to, first of all, take the opportunity to thank our panelists for finding time and coming today. I know it's a busy time in the academic calendar. So Dr. Tobin Kirtnell, Dean of Faculty and former Chair of the Social Sciences Department, will share about the majors. Dr. Ali, Director of the Law Program, will talk about the program that he oversees. And as usual, we will have alumni and student voices. Before I pass the mic to Dr. Tobin, I do want to remind the audience that we welcome your questions. So please feel free to ask in the Q&A session on Zoom or in the comment section on Facebook, and we'll be glad to answer those questions live. So we'll try to be concise, and as usual, try to end this within less than an hour. So if you have questions right now, otherwise I do hope that you'll get excited to learn more about Social Sciences Department. So Dr. Tobin, the floor is yours.
Okay, well, thank you. I'm going to just talk about two majors, which is the major of International Studies and International Relations. And our Dr. Ali Ahmed, the Director of the Law Program, will talk about our third major, which is obviously an undergraduate degree in law. So one thing that I think sets the social sciences apart from the other departments, I believe, well, two things. One is I think we're the most international of all departments, and that's deliberate. We want students to have opportunities all across the world, but also with international organizations here. And the second thing is I think we're very focused on actually engagement and getting involved. So even just today, I think Dr. Ali will explain how the students were training with the UNDP to learn about negotiation, about different skills they're going to need in their careers. You know, last week we had ambassadors visit, we've had consuls visit, we've hosted sessions with panelists from different expertise, journalists, policymakers, because what we want to be is the center of the conversation about issues facing our country, our community. And we want students to be at the forefront of that conversation. So I think before I pass it to Ali, I can just point to two things I think are really important for our department. One is our students are engaging with the politics, and sometimes the very difficult politics, of Iraq and Iraqi Kurdistan today. So sometimes that is in the economy, sometimes that is straight up diplomacy, security studies, and more. But the other thing is we're positioning the department, and we've already made a lot of strides, to be in the center of a conversation between Europe and East Asia. And so we've already developed partnerships in Europe, including Athens, Venice, and just recently Prague. And now we are in final steps negotiating with Korea, and we hope Japan and essentially China will follow, so that we can be the place where people come to have conversations about problems that affect everyone around the globe, but that Iraq and Iraqis, including our wonderful Kurdish and Arab, Assyrian, Yazidi students, they can be at the front line of trying to understand and work towards solutions on these problems. So we want to be the place, a bridge between the world, especially Europe and Asia. And with that, I'd like to pass it to Dr. Ali to explain in more detail about our law program.
Before I let you off the screen, I know, Dr. Tobin, that your department has truly been, as you said, the most international. And there are all those special programs and relationships with various embassies. But I know your department had this amazing trip just a month ago with the students. So, I mean, I just wanted to ask, maybe you would want to highlight a bit of that and kind of boast in what the department has been doing.
So I think one of the things we really want to do is we want to be student first in everything. So if an important visitor comes to campus, it's important for the students to get to meet them and talk to them. So when we reached out to the Korean government and the Academy of Korean Sciences, we asked for money to build partnerships to Korea, and they provided a 3-year grant with the option for 5 years extension if we're doing a great job, which, you know, we're working very hard to fulfill this promise. So part of that is we took 2 students to Korea, 2 of our best students to Korea. And I think social sciences is really a place that if you have a passion and you want to get involved, there'll be lots of opportunities. So these 2 students went to Korea. The trip was very successful. And now 2 more students can go to Korea, all expenses paid, over the summertime for a special program that attracts students from all over the world, including some of the top universities. So we're trying to build out these opportunities for all of our students in the social sciences and law department. But I expect this to just be the beginning, tip of the iceberg for our students going forward.
Yes, thank you, because I know there are many connections with various countries, but this has been just so recent that I think it deserves like the mentioning. Thank you so much, and we will have students soon to talk about their experience about the program. But now, Dr. Ali, about the law part of the program.
Thank you, Esther. Hello, everyone. I'm Dr. Ali, the director of the law program. If I want to start with describing why the law program at AUIS is unique and different from the many other law schools and programs that we have in Kurdistan, I can focus on the fact that we teach law in 2 languages, in Arabic and English. And this is the first time that law is studied in Iraq in English. Nowadays, in Kurdistan, law is studied in Kurdish. There are much less English components in the curriculum. And there was a dire need in the market for smart lawyers like our students that can speak English, write in English, because now we, as Dr. Tobin mentioned, we are open to the international community. So Iraq really requires lawyers that know Arabic and English, and some of them are native speakers Kurdish, so they can practice law basically in almost 3 languages. So it was in a way that most of the time I have seen many international organizations, companies, they had serious difficulties in finding lawyers that can practice law, or at least translate or like make analysis, legal analysis in English. And we are the first one. We are proud of this, that we tried to fill this gap. And this spring, we have our first cohort. And I can say that from now, I have been contacted by so many law firms that kind of like they're saying, wait, we are waiting for your students, because we have a lot of interactions with international organizations, international companies, NGOs, or a lot of other companies that requires the students to know Arabic, because it's clear that law in Iraq is all in Arabic. Even in Kurdistan, most of the time they rely on the Arabic laws that we have. So, and we wanted to make sure that our lawyers not just learn and master Arabic, but at the same time, the English component was a necessary initiative, you may say, in Iraq. We had provided our students with some international law firms, and many of my students got internship in some international law firms in Iraq, and they are increasing. That's to confirm, and they check for lawyers that can speak and write and provide analysis for the law in English, and that's something that is I'm very proud of, that I'm part of this process. And then international exposure, we always try to have this. We participated in the JESAB competition since 2017. We won all the competitions, almost all of them. And 3 times we've traveled to Washington to participate in the international rounds. JESAB is one of the most famous legal competition, and I can say that our students performed extremely well. And I got so many comments from the judges after the competition, because we have a national round and we have an international round. So in the national rounds, I have got many comments and complaints from the judges, and they showed their, let's say, their appreciation of the or appraisal for our students for the performance that they have shown, because JESAB is a competition that is all in English, not just in English side of it or language side of it, but because of the way that they were quite unique in making analysis, making arguments to win their claims. So, and then we always try to have like workshops. We have built some connection with the United Nations Development Program, Iraq. So there was another competition that we have participated this year, international mediation and negotiation competition. We won this competition, and our students will participate in the international round in Sri Lanka, and all of the expenses is paid by the UNDP program. So I think, and we try to teach law in a different way, not the traditional ways, which basically focuses a lot on enhancing the critical thinking of our students, because I have experience teaching law at some other universities, and sometimes there is a serious problem when it comes to the innovative ways of making the law students unique, in the sense that it's not just like it's kind of like a cliche that law is all memorization in Iraq, the study of law. But we somehow disagreed with this, and we said no, it is all about understanding, critical thinking, problem solving. So we try to help our students as much as we can, in the sense that we produce much different lawyers than the lawyers that are available nowadays. And I've got feedbacks, because I have sent so many of my students as interns to the law firms, and I always got positive feedbacks about the performance of my students. And that's something that I'm very proud of.
These are amazing achievements. Thank you so much for highlighting all of these different competitions. I mean, I didn't even know of all of the nominations and all of the achievements that our law program has done and achieved. This is truly amazing. So congratulations to you
Thank
and
you.
to your students. Like, this is definitely something to boast about and talk, because these are definitely the achievements that show the essence and the quality of the program. Thank you so much. I do want to encourage the audience, in case you have any questions about the law program or social sciences department in general, we'll gladly take those questions on live. But I do want to give a chance now to the students to give their perspective about their major and what it has been like for them to study in that major, and even why they have chosen that one. So I do want to move to international studies students first, and then we'll go to law majors. So Mahi, maybe let's start with you. If you could just introduce yourself, tell us about your major, and just reflect on what has the journey at AUS been like, what have you liked the most, what has been most meaningful, and maybe any plans after what will happen next.
Hi, this is Mahi Firman, and I'm an international relations student. This is my second year. The reason why I first chose to come to AUIS is that it's internationally recognized, and I heard that they have really good professors. And that was actually the reason why I majored in international relations too, because I first did not know what to major in, but then after seeing that the professors at this department were being very proactive for providing opportunities for students, I wanted to major in it because it seemed that there were a lot of opportunities that can get involved in. Since I majored, I had a very good experience in my major. There were a lot of opportunities, for example, conferences, international conferences and competitions. The classes and the lessons were very interesting for me. Yeah.
So of course, this is, as I said, you're in your second year, so you're kind of halfway done,
Yeah.
right? So what are you mostly excited about when you think about the next 2 years of the university? Like, what would you want to learn more, or any dreams that you are already building about? What's the biggest excitement when you think about the next years of studies?
It would be for me about what opportunities I can be involved in. What can I achieve in those 2 years in our major? It's not about just what you study and learn, but the skills that you improve and the CV that you build until you graduate. So I'm very excited about that.
Okay, thank you. Let's go to Nwa now, and then maybe we'll still have time for conversations and more questions. So our another international studies student, right? Nwa?
Hi. Sorry. Hi, can everyone hear me? So my name is Nuam, and I'm an international studies student. It's my third year. Actually, I first wanted to study clinical psychology in Koya, but somehow I changed my mind when I realized there's international studies in AYS. And from my experience, the first few semesters were really wonderful to me because it was more theoretical, and we were mixing philosophy and politics and art as well. So the most that I love about my major is the fact that it isn't strictly political. There's a lot of reality to the senses of everything being political, especially as someone who's Kurdish and as someone living in this region. You can't really run away from politics. It's in everywhere. So my favorite thing is that we're able to use philosophy, art, English, because my minor is English, in ways that not only reflect the political reality, but also enhance the way we could develop or improve our situation. And I think I mentioned it's my third year. What I'm looking forward to the most is learning more, of course, and improving my skills in relation to diplomacy. And yeah.
Yeah, so that was kind of a shift for you from clinical psychology interest to international relations. So any regrets so far, or have you been happy about that change? And and have you, yeah, what have been your highlights the most?
Actually, there is no regrets. I'm glad you brought that question up because um, right now, international relations is globally more recognized than the major international studies. And because of the academic government here, after like I think a year it is, you cannot really change your major. But I still like international studies more than international relations, and I'll state my reasons why. These are my opinions, of course, because there's this sense of how do you say general knowledge where you could feel like you fit in anywhere, because I find the fact that there's a lot of psychology in not just politics, but in networking, but in using art and philosophy. You're supposed to understand how you connect with other human beings, or how do other people think, or I think it's the basis of any major, actually, in fact. So there's a lot of psychology I still use, even if I don't have the major in it. But what I couldn't have done with clinical psychology was politics, of course, because there's this kind of, this weighing of which one was better for me. And I'm so happy I chose international studies because not to bring down the major, but international relations has more with practicality. But I'm still kind of like the old-fashioned theoretical side. I kind of like literary devices, or classical political philosophy, and how we can still improve that to fit into the practical world, because I believe theory is the thing that paves practicality and technicalities. But yeah, no regrets whatsoever.
Wonderful. Well, and it's amazing to hear that, every student finds their own path where they, believe, where that education and that major fits exactly, their personality, their interest. And I think that is the ultimate goal, right? That the university should be the place where the person grows and develops further and finds their interests, their skills, their talents, and then builds upon them. And we do have an alumni, actually, an alum who will share already about his professional career, what happens after graduating from the major. But now let's shift gears a bit and move to our law students. So we hear from them, and Dr. Ali praised the program and impressed us with all of the achievements and participations. But let's hear from the student perspective. And so Avesta, maybe I can put a spotlight on you, and where you can then share with us what has your experience being you're majoring in law, right? So what
Yes,
has
I
been
am.
your experience so far?
So hi everyone. My name is Avesta Youssef. Originally from the city of Erbil, so I've come all the way to Sylvie to study law. We actually have so many students coming from all over Iraq, not just the Kurdistan region, to study law in AUIS. And for example, cities from federal Iraq, we have other cities from, for example, Duhok, all over, actually all over Iraq. I've always wanted to study law because I feel like it prepares you to face and makes you more aware of your surroundings after graduation. After studying law, I'll be among the first cohort that will ever graduate as lawyers from AUIS. After these 5 years, after studying for 5 years, I felt that studying law has prepared me to understand any kind of, or to tackle any issue that comes along. And why I chose AUIS, because I felt I studied in an American high school back in Erbil, and when I thought of all the universities that offer the best education in Kurdistan, I decided AUIS would be the best because it offers a liberal art education. And the fact, as my director mentioned, the fact that studying law in AUIS is in two languages. It's 60% English and 40% Arabic, so it basically gives you the best of both worlds. If you plan to do like international, like if you plan to do international law after graduation, you're well equipped, you have the skills for that. If you plan to do a local law, you also know Kurdish and Arabic, you can also do that. And I also, throughout these 5 years, I've noticed that comparing to other universities, AUIS is the best example that offers and prepares its students for any kind of work environment they join, because it offers many opportunities for our students. For example, I was among the participants that participated in the 2024 Dress Up competition, which is known to be the oldest and the biggest moot court worldwide. I've also participated in the Geneva Cyber Strategy Challenge, and we were actually among the 15, the only 15 semi-finalist countries that advanced to the semi-finals round. AUIS, I think it also encourages you to participate in a plethora of exchange programs. For example, I'm an U.S. Department alumni. I've participated in an exchange program that's funded by the U.S. Department of State. And AUIS, I think, is the kind of university that opens so many doors for students to join competitions and even exchange programs.
Thank you. So where do you see yourself in the next 5 to 6 years? Do you imagine yourself being a lawyer in Erbil, in Suli, or are you looking for further education? And what are your big dreams and ambitions?
I think for at least for the next 2 years, I'll be working in Erbil. And I think what differentiates lawyers graduating from AUIS comparing to other lawyers that will graduate from other universities is that, as I said, they're well equipped with international matters as well. They have an exposure of international matters that will increase their chances of being accepted with so many NGOs, private companies, embassies, and even consulates. So for the next 2 years, my plan is to go back home, settle for good this time, and to work in Erbil, and then my plan is to pursue masters.
Thank you, Avesta, for sharing. It's truly always a delight to hear from students and to see what is the potential that you guys have in front of you. So I'm very much excited to see and follow what your path will be. And I know that all your faculty members, all your professors are definitely looking forward to see what happens next for you. Lania, you're also a student of law. So now the spotlight is on you. And thank you for being with us today.
Hello and thank you. My name is Lania Osman. I'm a senior in law school in AUIS Law, and I'm very honored to be representing my major today as directed by Dr. Ali. I would say the reason I joined the law program in AUIS is that in itself, the nature of law is very, very broad. You can practice, well, if you start working, you can practice many parts of law internationally, locally, with NGOs. And I would say AUIS even broadens that even more for you with, as Dr. Ali mentioned, with providing you with dual language, with providing you with exchange programs and the energy that AUIS and the support that they give. So I would say the reason I chose that is because it even, with the nature of law being so broad, AUIS even broadened that even more. And that's a great opportunity for students, especially with the many challenges our society faces, not being able to pursue many careers. I think AUIS has really fought for that, for students to be able to, and ensure students to be able to get jobs with the skills that they provide us. And AUIS here with the law program, they've really, as I said, I'm a senior. So first we really went from being very, very theoretical to now being a bit and even more practical compared to the other universities that we have, with engaging us with judges or other institutions. So they also expose you to the practical sense of law and provided with the reality check that we need within our society and with the many challenges it has. And obviously, as my director and my classmate mentioned, it's really important that we practice law in both Arabic and English, because as we know, Arabic is one of the 6 major languages in the world, and you would really understand the importance and how crucial it is once you start working, once you expose yourself to the working environment. I was honored enough to do 2 internships, one in a local in the local court here, and one in a private institution. And the fact that I had the skills to be very, very local and have a local reality check, but also being very, very international, using languages, using skills, and using information really helped me a lot. So I would say it really broadens your skills and your future a lot.
Wow. May I ask, where is home for you? So Avesta said she's from Arbil. What about you?
Yes, I am from Slimani. I'm from
Okay.
here. Yeah, so I guess that's even more helpful because I can engage on campus in my own city. So that's less of challenges compared to the dorm students. But either way, being here, coming from Slimani or from Holir, I think the campus here and with the skills provided, you can use all of this information in a lot of parts of Iraq, be it in Holir or in Slimani, and they've made
course.
sure that.
And so this is now your last semester as well?
Yes, I'm a senior. I'm a graduate.
Okay. So
So I'll be
what's happening with you after graduation? You
I
guys are
guess
almost done. So you're at the
almost done.
forefront
We're
of the-
working on our thesis. Yes, we're working on our theses. And I would say as I said, with the broadness of law, I want to seek a lot. And the problem is wanting a lot, you don't know actually where to start. But at first, and on a realistic, having a realistic background, I want to pursue law. I want to practice law. I want to be a lawyer for a while. So in Iraq, we have this rule where you need to practice law for 3 years to be able to practice it independently. So 3 years with another lawyer to be able to practice independently later on years. So for 2 years or so, I'll be doing that. And then hopefully I want to practice it internationally, maybe with an exchange program or pursue masters. But for now, I'll be practicing law, hopefully.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I see Noah has a comment to add. So here you go.
Actually, the other students and my colleagues reminded me that I didn't mention anything related to JobWise for international studies. And don't worry. First of all, international studies students can participate in JESUP. I myself got accepted, but unfortunately, due to the workload, I had to quit. Also, you can get your poetry published. I've had my poetry published in Taylor and Francis, which is a Q1 level. And I think one of the biggest reasons why was because I was an AUI student. A lot of international studies students, they can get their research published even in ResearchGate. And you can even work in relation to, as I said before, philosophy and art. And you can practically as well do a lot of things such as minor in law, where you can mix best of both worlds. And work-wise, you could also even make connections with the diplomats. For example, as Dr. Tobin mentioned, the Dutch ambassador came, I think it was, this week, and he gave us his business cards, and we exchanged our emails, and we even had a lot of questions, and he answered all of them. As well as with the Japanese ambassador, we can make connections directly with the ambassadors and expand our ideas in relation to what we want to do in the future. So that was it. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, it's part, studying is also part of building your professional network for the future. And I think that is so true for any department. So thank you, Noah, for expanding and mentioning this. I do want to make sure we're still running well on time, and I want to give the spotlight to our alum. So because of course, Çanar, you are already the person who's been out of AUIS, so you have already more to share about your professional path and how has AUIS education helped you in building the next steps after graduation. So the floor is yours, and thank you so much for being with us today. I think, did we lose Çanar?
Thank you. Hi, I'm Chener. I am originally from Kirkuk, but I'm currently based in Erbil. Hello?
Yes, hello. We hear you, but we don't see you.
My
All
camera
good.
is on.
Mm-hmm.
All good?
Yes.
Sorry, my internet is a bit shaky. Yes, I am
Shanar, you're really breaking up. We cannot hear you. Is there a way for you to, Shanar, this is not working. So is there any way for you to move to a better spot while we're, yeah, Shanar, you're really breaking up. So maybe we'll try to see if you can restart your connection. And in the meantime, I do then maybe want to give a spotlight back to Dr. Ali. For you to feature, like, you know, yes, there are so many educational opportunities elsewhere. You did talk about the uniqueness of your program, but if you were to highlight one particular reason of what puts your program apart from others, and if you were to speak to high school seniors, you know, who are debating what to study, so what would you tell them? Why law and why AUIS?
That's a very good question. I think I want to start with the fact that we live in a country that the rule of law is weak. And I think we need rule of law more than anything else in order to develop, in order to have a better society. And I think the young population should be the true focus on this in the future. So I strongly believe that the fact that law covers human rights, rule of law, rights and liberties, I mean, these make essential components of the life of everyone in this age, I think is quite motivating for the students to come and join the law program. And the fact that law is quite broad because law graduates the same way international studies are as well broad. So the students can work in many fields: politics, administration, business, civil society. So I think this is that's something that I always focus, that if you study law or maybe international studies or international relations, that you have a vast different areas of focus in the future. So that's one thing and becoming a lawyer, if we understand the role of lawyers, sometimes the society will misunderstand the role of lawyers, but it's extremely essential for a lawyer to work sometimes pro bono, to work with NGO to help those people that need helps. And these are stuff that you can do it because, and we have experience, we have some internships, some of our students joined some of those NGOs, and they volunteered and worked to enhance the status of human rights, women's rights, juvenile rights. So that's something that is, I mean, the side of law that is helping people, helping your society is something that would be quite interesting for students, for the young generation to be effective in the society.
Thank you. Thank you so much for this addition. Well, let's give it a try. Back to our alum, Shanar. How are you doing with the connection?
Hi, I don't know. I'm really sorry for any inconvenience. Is it any better?
For now, it's working. So inshallah, it will continue.
Inshallah. So, yeah, before anything, of course, majoring in IS offers a lot of opportunities. One thing that it does not guarantee is a stable internet connection, apparently. But yeah, I'm a graduate of the spring semester of 2022. What I would really like to start off with is basically echoing what my colleagues said, Nuwa and Mahi, IS students. because I have a similar experience where both of them talked about how in the beginning they didn't know what to major in, and they eventually decided on IS. And I think that is a true testament to the power and to the reputation of IS, because I personally initially started with MLS, but after 3 semesters, I realized that my true passion was IS, and I genuinely believe that it was the greatest decision I've ever made. Not only because of the opportunities it offers after graduation, but also I had the privilege of studying under the tutelage of some of the greatest minds at the university. I also had the great privilege of minoring in law and studying under the tutelage of Dr. Ali. I've also taken a lot of classes with Dr. Tobin as well. And it's not necessarily just the quality of education, it is the wide network of connections that being a social sciences student creates for you, whether that is students or whether that is the professors. Both Dr. Ali and Dr. Tobin are still people I regularly contact whenever I need advice about anything related to my professional career. And the friendships that I've made I have made a lot of great use of in my professional career as a reporter editor for Rudal Media Network's English department, where I currently work. And I have worked immediately after my graduation, I might say so. And the great thing about IS is it introduces you to an array of different cultures and backgrounds and people from different places and beliefs. And so for me as a journalist, that is very helpful, because if I need to do a story on Najaf or Basra or Baghdad or wherever, I know that I have friends that I can reach out to, and they will get me in contact with people that will help me build a better story, a more accurate story. And I personally, I'm currently doing journalism, which has been my passion ever since I've been young. But majoring in IS, of course, as I said, it offers limitless opportunities. We have a lot of people currently working for consulates, NGOs, IOCs, the government, or just in general pursuing higher studies abroad with fully funded scholarships. And as a student experience, I would say my favorite part of being an IS student was the flexibility that it offers. And while the major usually has this reputation of being more of a politics oriented, that doesn't necessarily need to be your profession after graduation. As I said, basically you can work in any field you want as long as you have the passion for it, because you do have the groundwork by studying at IS. I, as an IS student, apart from my core classes, which also incorporated some of my favorite elements like literature or history or law in general, I had the opportunity to take classes that were just more in general, like fun classes, which is not something you can do with the more strict majors like engineering or MLS. I was very happy to have the opportunity to take classes in film or art or just philosophy in general. And I cannot recommend enough for upcoming students to major in IS or social sciences in general.
Thank you so much. And I'm so glad that the electricity had cooperated with us and we could have you online for this webinar. I also want to thank you for your work with the Rudal English News. I definitely use the channel every day for keeping up with the news. So this is like truly good to see some people behind the screens, I guess. So and I think from what you said, this is exactly highlighting again the value of the educational model at AUIS. Yes, it is about the major. Yes, it is about the degree, but it's also the possibility to combine a major with a minor and that breadth of different courses, the foundational base, on which students then will expand their knowledge, will get different approaches, and also like the interaction amongst different students, like even from what we have today, like we have, you said your home was in Kirkuk, we have students coming from all over federal Iraq, but also from all over Kurdistan. And that is the beauty, of that diversity. We have students from Iran, we have students from Afghanistan, and hopefully that diversity will continue growing because our faculty and staff come from 20 different countries. So that's what makes AUIS so unique. And this is what we invite our audience to consider. Come learn more about us, come visit our classes, and as a final invitation, come and see us tomorrow during the University Day when we open our doors as openly as possible to everyone and anyone. And hopefully you will meet some of the faces that you've met online in person, and that will help you feel more like at home. So thank you to the Social Sciences Department faculty, students, and alumni. I wish you all the best in whatever endeavors you end up in. So thank you for sharing your stories. Thank you for sharing about the program. And thank you to our audience for being with us online throughout these last 2 weeks. I do specifically want to thank our phantom behind the AUIS Zoom logo. Kozak, thank you so much for your continuous support during these webinars. We are so grateful for our IT team and their support in all the things that we do. And I want to really invite you once again to come tomorrow, and so that we can say, see you then. Thank you once again to everyone. Enjoy your evening, and until we see you tomorrow.